Ladies and gentlemen, Geoffrey Howells, carpet cleaning out here in Happy Valley, Oregon. What I'm going to discuss today is a little bit about vacuum cleaners. Um, Regardless of this being a Kirby or not, it doesn't really matter. So, the three most important criterias when discussing vacuum cleaners is agitation, airflow, and suction. And I'll go through each one of those and describe, what those each are. Now, when looking at vacuum cleaners, most of your $200 range vacuum cleaners on the market today are free floating on the surface of the carpeting, meaning they do not have this height adjustment control on them. However, to get the most optimal use out of a vacuum cleaner, it really needs to have a height adjustment on there of some sort. And the most optimal setting to have this, to have the height set at is you want to raise it up off the carpeting as high as it will possibly go. We're going to turn on our machine and then we're going to begin lowering it until we hear, click by click, until we hear an audible difference of that beater bar underneath the vacuum making contact with the surface of the carpeting. And so what that will ultimately do is that beater bar begins vibrating that carpeting and shaking it and causing the debris that's inside of the carpeting to bounce up. And that's when the suction of the vacuum cleaner is able to take those debris, suck it up, puts it in the bag, and voila, that is the physics behind a vacuum cleaner. So, when we find the audible difference between when the brush is finally makes contact with the floor, if we drop it, here, let's turn it on and give a quick example here. Pretty loud, so I'll have to talk over the noise, but as we put it down, you'll notice it when it hits the floor. Probably right about there, you can hear the sound difference of it hitting the floor. And the ultimate position for the beater bar to be at is then to go one click further down. So on this carpeting, this position, about 4 clicks down from the top, is the most optimal setting for this particular carpeting. Now, if I was to go into another room or another house that has different carpeting, maybe a lower piling or higher piling than what this carpeting is, I simply repeat the process. Bring the vacuum cleaner all the way to an upright position and slowly begin clicking down one at a time until you hear that audible difference of the machine, and then you go one more and you've just found the sweet spot of the vacuum cleaner, and that is going to allow for the greatest effectiveness and efficiency of the vacuum cleaner to pick out and pull out debris from the carpeting. And so what I was talking about, the agitation portion of the vacuum cleaner is the beater bar that is effectively beating against the carpet and turning, and that's what causes the vibration, causing particles and debris within the carpeting to bounce up. The airflow is the amount of air that is actually able to get through and under the vacuum. So with the free-floating vacuums, ideally they're supposed to have enough airflow going under them to create a good suction. Some do, some don't. It's pretty much a crapshoot because without actually testing a whole bunch of vacuum cleaners, there's absolutely no possible way of knowing which one is better than the other unless you're reading a bunch of consumer reports. But actually knowing the physics behind the vacuum will help you make a much better decision anyways. So anyways, here we go. So when we turn this on, we've got the agitation of the beater bar beating the carpet, vibrating. We're not so far down on the carpet that we're stifling the airflow getting in underneath it. And we're still able to vibrate that carpet, cause debris to come up. And with that airflow, we can create enough suction to easily pick up everything that comes, bouncing up out of the carpeting. And that there is a quick tutorial or explanation of how a vacuum cleaner actually works.